Hello everyone, how are you? And welcome to the live stream. Yeah, today we're going to be making some interior design inside Blender. And let me just make sure that I have everything set up. Oops. Yes, make sure none of this is showing. Let me see. Yes, so today I want to be making some interior design, and what we're going to be making is this room here, which I got from house.com, and I think it's going to be very interesting to get us through the basics, not just the basics, but through Blender. Let me set up my interface. There's my image. Yeah, so we're going to be making some interior scene. I don't know, maybe we can also make the bed. And then, yeah, but before we get into that, let me do a few quick promotions. Hello Aditya, hello Arise AR, hello Comic Sans, how are you doing all? Yeah, so let's do some quick promos before we get into the live stream. Just a way to support the channel, get feasible to continue doing this. Yeah, so the first add-on I want to recommend, if you are in market for add-ons, Blender add-ons, this is Pure Sky Pro. It's just an add-on that lets you create skies, clouds with volumetrics, light rays, set up your sun, moon. It's capable of making nighttime and daytime atmospheres. You can add a moon, you can add clouds. Basically, just use it to light up your scene. It's another way to use HDRIs without using HDRIs. So these are just like customizable HDRIs. You make the environment yourself, add clouds, make volumetrics, even animate the clouds like you see here in the demo here. I can see the clouds are animated. You also have the God rays built into the add-on. So if you want to get this add-on, link is going to be provided in the description. Hello Ari Toika, how are you? Another add-on I want to promote is the fast water add-on. This just lets you generate water ripples, fluid simulation. It's not using the fluid simulation system in Blender. It's just another separate. It works differently from the fluid simulation, but it allows you to create quick simulations, water simulations like this, without doing a lot of, without using the computational heavy fluids built-in simulation system in Blender. Another add-on I want to promote is it's called the Extreme PBR Nexus. This is one of the best, most popular add-ons on Blender market. You can see it has around 7,800 yeah, that many cells, and it's just a collection of a lot of different materials. So yeah, it would be very useful for a thing like this. But because this is a training series, I want to make the materials from scratch. But this would be a great add-on. Again, link is in the description. Yeah, so let's get into it. How we're going to be making this here. Well, really, it's very important. What is important? You mean the Extreme PBR? Yeah, it's a very useful add-on. So yeah, let's make this bedroom in cycles. Oh, okay. Hello, Thamil. Hello, Eve Empire. Okay, yeah. Let's add a plane. Can you teach us to make animated characters, please? Yeah, I'm not very good at animated characters. They're quite a lot of work. That's why you see I don't do them a lot. Let me go to this layout. Just split this here. Use the image editor. Bring this here. Apply the scale. Maybe let's use a small scale like that. You could also do underwater HDRI with that add-on. Ah, nice. Yeah. Could you also do underwater HDRI with that add-on? Well, I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't think so. Or at least I haven't tried. Anyway, let's create this. Let me bring the shortcuts back. Now, shortcuts. Where are my quick shortcuts? Yeah, so the shortcuts are there. Okay, let's make this room. We're going to start with extruding the walls. I usually like to approach the room in, something like that. The roof is going to be there. Our cameras should be around here. Let me change the camera settings. Use a 25mm camera. And maybe widen the room a bit, something like that. Just have this like that, and I use like so. Yo, hey, thank you, Connect Gamer from Nepal. Thank you. Thanks for the love. Okay, let's add a window here. That should be very easy. Just add a few look parts here. Maybe just scale it on the Y a bit like that. Maybe bring it here. Extrude. We want to, yeah, extrude. Oh, let's just use. Let me add thickness modifier. I'm using my add-on as the quick function add-on to add modifiers this easily. So yeah, if you don't have it, you can get it. Okay, so here we are. Let me split this. Into a shader editor. I subscribed. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't see the notification, but thank you. Anyway, so let's see. Go to shader mode here. I'll switch the render to cycles. Turn on viewport denoising. Like that. In the world settings, let me add an area light here and just scale it up at fit our window. Like that. Give it maybe 100 for the power. And I'll go to my world settings, just stand the world off like that. But now everything looks too dark here, which can. So if you have a lot of light coming in from the outside, we should add an overexposed environment just so it looks feasible. So I'm going to add a plane. Well, let me just use Shift E. Should I Shift A? Add a plane. $90 degrees. This is going to be the background environment, and I want it to be overexposed. I'm going to give it a new material. Let me import an image texture here. Image texture resources. I want to have to add an environment, something like trees in the background. I too subscribed. Thank you, Drowning in the Sea. Thank you. Let me look for plants here. Actually, don't have anything good. Let me just go to Google and look for garden. So let's use something with some sky. Something like this could be. Yeah, could be enough. I'll just save this. Let me see, where am I saving this? Downloads. So let me just drag it in, or shift import texture, downloads, and that should be this here. I will connect this. Actually, I want to use this with an emission shader. So let me connect this to the base, to the color. I want it to be overexposed. Let's go back to this, to the reference. Hey Zigzag, how are you? Glad to see you. Again, let's overexpose this a little bit more. And actually, I can remove this light. Yeah, you can see we are getting some global illumination. So the light from the environment is kind of reflecting onto the wall, which is great. Hey, thanks Bobby for subscribing. Bobby Bees for subscribing. Really appreciate that. And I think our window looks a bit too small. So let me first pause this. Turn on random colors. Yeah, so something like that. Now let's separate the top of the ceiling from the rest of the walls like that. Let me save this. 2022 interior. Hello Kay Gon, how are you doing? Well, Super Chat is not available in my country. Well, that's unfortunate, but I appreciate the gesture. Anyway, so let's add some curtains. The curtains should be very simple to make. So you can either, let's add a plane like this and subdivide it a few times. I'm thinking, let me just use my cloth library add-on and have a mesh like this. I want it to be a bit taller. Apply the scale. I'll convert this to a pattern. And that should subdivide it like that. Maybe the resolution is a bit too much, but that's okay. And if I simulate now, the cloth should start falling, but I just have to make sure that I have gravity turned on. I think the resolution is too much, so I'm going to reduce this. Which is going to mess up the, let me actually just do this. Apply, convert, yeah, something like that. Turn on gravity. The cloth just falls. Now, are you from an African country? Yes, I am. I'm from Uganda. That's in East Africa. So I want to freeze a few of these vertices like that. So I can use, can go to, yo, thank you for subscribing. That is awesome, amazing. Thank you, thank you. I'll go to my I'll go to the vertex group. Make sure I assign a new vertex group like that. Now if I go to the cloth modifier here, I can turn on under shape, I can turn on pinning group, and now these are cloth. And the other thing I can do is scale this on the x-axis as it's simulating. So I'll scale this, and I think I can move my 3D cursor to the corner there, so that I can scale this. Let me first turn off this. We're making these curtains. So, okay, why is this? Need to. scale, yeah, something like that. Now if we animate, you can see we basically get the curtains. Hello sir, hello Guarav Aurora, how are you? Hello SocialBot73XT, hello Ricky Ori, hello, good to be here again. Good to see you are here again as well. Thank you Roderick Matthews, thank you for subscribing. You're using cycles? Yes, we're going to be using cycles for this. Yeah, so you can see how we easily made the curtains. Maybe let me repeat that for those who were not around. Maybe it's actually you can just go back to a few seconds and see how I did it. So that's the curtain. I can just apply this. We don't need. Yeah, so we have the curtain. Now we can UV unwrap this like that. And let's find ourselves. Let's create a new material. And let me import an image. Let me go to resources. I think I have some patterns or fabric. Yeah, I'm going to use this. Connect this to the base color. And you can see we already have a nice looking curtain. And I would tessellate the curtain further. Yeah, we could do that, but I don't want, when I do this, because my computer is not really that beefy, it's going to slow down the simulation a lot. That's why you see I don't have a lot of resolution for the curtains, and they're going to be far away enough. It won't matter that much. Another thing I want to do is add a shader, a translucent shader. I can mix these using, actually not mix those. Can I mix these using, I think I need to add a mix node here. Anyway, let's add a shader mix node so we can blend the two. Like that. Hope I am not late for class. No, you're not this time. Today we have just started about 17 minutes ago. Okay. 10,000 hours to master something. Yeah, I guess. So let me see. How long is 10,000 hours? 10,000 divided by 24. That's almost 2 years. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I think that's actually it's not 2 years because you would have to be learning that particular thing 24 hours. So it's more like 6 years. Our first time being here, looking forward to the stream. Thank you. Good to see you. I'm making a toddler right now in Blender while watching this. That's amazing. Okay, so we have our curtains. Thank you for subscribing. Can't pronounce your name, but thank you. I think I want to do is add in these ribbons or these lines here. And for those, I'm just going to use a texture, gradient texture. Let me just do I have a gradient texture here? Texture, gradient texture. And if you look at this, we have a gradient that is going from left to right. I want to rotate this, and so that is coming from, let's use UV. You can see it's coming from top to bottom or bottom to top. What we can do now is use a math node here, and use greater than. That should make a single line like that. And if we add another math node here and use modular, it should repeat this, but I think then we don't need to use the greater than. So the modulus is just going to repeat the patterns a few times like that. And now we can have the greater than after. And you can see patterns, or whatever these are. We have the strips. So we can scale this up until we have thank you for subscribing, Chandra Shekhar. Thank you. How's the development market over there? ArcViz visualizer busy. Well, here it's a bit slow. It's a bit slow because usually people just skip the visualizing part, or at least they use ArchCAD for that. Maybe I haven't looked into it that much, so I'm not sure. I'm caught up in the 3D art world. I haven't really looked into the ArcViz business itself. Can't you get the same effect from using changing the Z scale in the mapping? Well, I want these lines to be as crisp as this, so that's why you see I'm using the greater than. So if I just use the scale this without the greater than, it will just continue to be a gradient, which is not what I want. So that's what we have. And we're going to grab this and this, mix them. So I'll use the quick functions, mix them using the RGB, and just connect these to the base and the translucent color as well. So you can see how the curtain now has some life in it. Okay, now we can go back in here. Let me look at there is a curtain hangers. Let me add this. Let me get rid of these keyframes. I'm struggling to complete my personal project. Any advice? Well, the advice would be complete them. Just complete them. I really don't have any better advice other than that. Just try and complete them and see. Just commit. Try committing. I'm going to duplicate this. So we have something like that. And we can duplicate this again on the other side. Now let's make these curtain hangers. Hello, Burning Bright, glad to see you. Hello, Shri Shiva, glad to see you. Those are my regulars. You know how to use Maya. Which is better, Blender or Maya for you? I'm not very versed in Maya, but I've tried it. But as always, Blender is going to be my favorite. Yeah, let's use 12 vertices for this. Scale this on the X. Yeah, so this is going to be our curtain hangers. Let's just extrude on the Y, like so. Okay, now we need a few rings here, so I'm just going to add a circle, a curve circle, rotate this on the X like that, and just under geometry give it, round it off. So those are going to be our hangers. And if you want this to look more high resolution, the curtains to look more high res, just add a subdivision surface, which I've added, and it's hanging my PC, but yeah, I don't need it. So let me just get rid of it. So another way to make the curtains look smooth without actually using any subdivisions. Quick question, how long have you been using about Blender? About 10 years. It has been a long time. We haven't seen your deco add-on in action. Yeah, actually I've made a video today about, because I made a few updates on it, and maybe, let me see, can we use it here? Yeah, we can use it maybe to design these things here. Yeah, so another way to make these curtains smooth without a subdivision surface, you can use the corrective smooth option and just reduce the scale like that. You can see it makes the curtains look smoother. Yeah, something like that. So this is without them, this is with them. So yeah, that's another way to do it. Okay, let's create these hangers, and I think we can just duplicate this, rotate this 90 degrees. Turn on proportional editing. I can use connected. Just trying to see what other designs I can come up with. Let me use aligned. I'll subdivide this a few times. Yeah, I think that's an interesting design for these curtain hangers. Shift D. Yeah, something like that. Let's see how this looks. I think we want them to be a bit more translucent. So yeah, you can see how that looks. Let's see. Hello from India, hello from Uganda. Hello, Sohail Said. How are you? Can you make a full character making tutorial? That would be a very lengthy tutorial because characters are really time consuming to make. Break down Kaiwan Shaban Blender Art. Kaiwan Shaban Blender Art. Let me see who that is. I don't think I've heard of him. Okay, this is some amazing art. Nice. I like the theme. He uses an orangish and then bluish theme like that. Just ties things a bit, makes things look good. Nice. Okay, curtains. Let's make the walls a different material. Let me actually first separate the floor as well. I think the walls are a bit too thick. So let's give them a new material, and I'm going to bring in a grunge map. So resources, go to my grunge maps and grab a rough texture or something like this here, and I'll use this as the bump. You can see the quick function add-on will connect everything for you like that. And let's quickly unwrap this. We can use object mapping. I'll reduce the bump quite significantly, and maybe use this as the roughness as well. So connect this to the roughness. And we can also use this as the color. So I'll just do color, mix RGB, connect this to that, and then this can be our base color. I think this can be our factor. I'll add a hue. Let me just duplicate this and add and use this as value. use this to determine now you can see how our room is starting to look. And I think we can use the same material for the ceiling. Control L link materials, but we're going to make it simply white. So let me just do that. Maybe do the same for the floor. Give it the same material, control link. Let me turn on some ambient occlusion here, and bloom and screen space reflections. Kind of bloom. Okay. Character like dog or any animal and rig it. Yeah, like I said, that would take a lot of time. How many people in the chat are new to 3D modeling? Yeah, how many people are new to 3D modeling? You learn this stuff in college. How Blender calls these pop-up floating menus. So the pop-up floating menus, these menus are from my add-on, the quick functions add-on. If you want it, you can find the link in the description. It just speeds up how you work. Okay, let's work on the bed. I have a few beds in my furniture asset pack, but let me show you how you can make one for yourself. So we can start with a plane like this, scale it on the Y, extrude like that. I can also round off these edges a bit, Control B. Let me first apply the scale, Control B, just to round off other edges a bit. Then now this piece here would be the most difficult part, but let's see how we can approach it. Okay, the way I'm looking at it, if we start with a plane, scale it on the X, apply the scale, subdivide it a few times like that, then go to the remesh tool or decimate tool. Let me turn on wireframe here. If you change this, if you go to subdivisions, you can see change this to 1, you get a different pattern. And I think we can use that as a starting point to make these. Then we can select a vertex like this, Control Shift B, bevel it, and maybe just scale these like that. And then maybe push this in. Actually, I need to make sure that this is an actual subdivision like that. Like always, there are several ways you can approach something like this, but I'm choosing this because I think it might be a bit easier to approach it this way than another way. Is it? Let me see. If I insert this, so this, I need to insert in video origins, push them up, just merge. You can see how we are trying to get that shape. And I think we might need some subdivisions here, but before we do that, we can push this in. There are several ways to approach this, and I think I'm approaching this wrong. Let me see. If we... I've done this before. Let me actually show that. But I always forget how I approach different projects. Let me go to my furniture pack. I think it's under... Yeah, so I've done it before here when creating this seat. Oh, I think I used a cloth modifier for this. You can approach your approach is actually right. Yeah, I think it was okay, but it was going to take more time to make. Let me see. A different approach would be... If we rotate this 45 degrees, add a loop here, add a loop here, because it's somewhat like that, and use an array and another array. Another array like that. Your Instagram handle is at Ismail's VFX. I work in model. We have these by default. It's called pie menu. They're also called pie menus here. But this one is just a custom pie menu I created. And I think depends on now the context you're working in to bring those pie menus. Okay, what was I doing? Yeah, we're trying to create these. So this is a curve. So here, at each corner, that means that I would need to join this to this, this to this. Have the mirror, have this mirror up. So this one here would be a circle, so I'll just try to shape it directly. Again, there are several ways to approach something like this, and I'm just looking for the easiest. I think we also need another to mirror this on the, let me see, if I remove this, I need a loop cut here. Yeah, so turn on clipping, connect these like that. So if we turn on the subdivisions, you can see that the shape is coming. So if I increase this, you can see how the shape is merging, hopefully. Okay. So let's continue. Like that. And are you listening to some Arab music? Yeah. It's nice music. Let's add another loop cut here. These are going to be wrinkles. So just grab this, push it in, and drag it this side. And might also need another wrinkle here. Push that in. And now if you add subdivisions, you can see how that is shaping up. I think though we need to add a loop cut here just to smoothen things out a bit. Same here, can add a loop cut. Like that. Now all we need to do is just make sure that they connect correctly. Let me first apply all of these. And what I want to do is make sure that these are merged correctly. Merge center, merge center. These are merged. These are merged. And basically I want a square shape, so just need to get rid of these faces, these faces, these faces, and these faces, and just make sure that everything here is merged correctly. To the deep parts, looking good, and half UV sphere as a button, and it's complete. Yeah, I wasn't even sure how this would work, but I think it worked. Amazing. Yes, merge these, merge that. Just merge these tone parts together, and we should be done. So let me first straighten, then straighten these. Like that. Now add an array. There you can see. Now, of course, it needs some tweaking. For example, in some areas, we might need to make these a bit longer. These wrinkles a bit longer, and also make sure that this shape is circular. And that this here isn't as sharp. Hello, you channels, how are you? So actually with this we can even just get rid of this face. Yo, thank you for subscribing. Javia Rodna. Use a mirror modifier. You just make sure to reset the origin. And see. Okay, what it needs is just spending some time on this to clean things up. Maybe let me get rid of that. Do you have a job outside of YouTube? I'm at a point where I don't think I need a job outside YouTube. Actually, well, for me, YouTube is not just YouTube, because I'm also a web developer. So YouTube is not just a YouTube. It's where I market my stuff. I think this part here looks a bit too sharp, so let me push these out a bit so that this area looks more inflated. And actually, I think we can also get rid of the top side here. And just use another mirror. And then it should be easy to make things and I don't think we even need this loop here. So this can be merged to the center. Same with this. Yeah. Maybe the only thing we could do is just add a seam here that goes away all the way to the center. Merge last. That goes all the way to the center. Push that in. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, it's actually came out better than I expected. Do you mainly make your money from YouTube or by selling assets? I know assets is yeah, I make more money from selling assets than YouTube, and because I sell on different platforms. I think 5 platforms, so adding them together makes more. I make more there. Yeah, so I think this was a success for this. Surprisingly, surprised myself. Because it usually gets me a few tries to get this pattern right. It's one of the hardest piece to make. And you know what? I don't want to try this again, so let me save it in my assets. Save this. I think it's called a chamfer or something. Chamfer. Because I don't want to try making it again. I can reuse it, or I can use it as a starting point for other assets. And let me just make a copy. And the original one, have this in a backup collection, and just forget about it. We're not going to use subdivisions for this because it would be too heavy. Now with that, let's first reduce the vertical like that, increase the width, and basically apply the mirror, the array, and the array, and then just grab this edge loop, save it after texturing. Well, the texturing is not that difficult, so let me see. Yeah, let's extrude this, and let's add a cursor here and use the spin tool. Just spin this around. Just like that. And I think I want these pieces to be tighter there. Then now we just have to add the bed frame. I'm going to need a bit. Let's work on the bed frame. Yeah, that looks really good. Thank you. If there wasn't Blender, what software will you use? If there wasn't Blender, I guess I would try 3ds Max because I know how to use 3ds Max, or Cinema 4D because I know how to use Cinema 4D. The only reason I don't use them is because Blender is much fun. I love the community, and yeah, and it's free. It looks like daily Merrick bubbly, no, not gonna lie. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, let me add bevel. Where's my bevel? Yeah, like that. Shade smooth. I think I want to add a corrective smooth here, just to smoothen things a little bit, like that. And another thing we could do is just select the middle edge, turn on proportional editing, push them out a bit, yeah, and rotate this back a bit. My camera is gone. That's okay. Yeah, going to grab this again, Ctrl L, Shift D. These are going to be our legs. Now let's make the blanket. I use a cube. apply scale and just round off the corners a bit, like that. And I think I want to start with a plane. I want to use cloth simulations to do this and see if it would work. Creating a bed sheet like this is I recommend using Mother Designer, but because I know most of you don't have it, let's see if we can try using my cloth add-on quick function, the cloth library add-on, to do something like this. Haven't tried doing it, so I'm not sure how it's going to go. The button in the middle of here, oh, forgot that, thank you for reminding me. That should be a simple circle like this. 12 vertices is enough. Scale it down, rotate it on the X. So something like that. Extrude. Something like that. Or is it supposed to be larger? And I think I did a mistake. I should have added this before I did. Let's see. Okay, I think it's okay. We can just do it manually. Because I deformed the mesh a bit, I thought it would be a bit difficult to add. What if Blender has no modifiers? Well, then that is no longer a Blender. That is no longer a Blender, because from the beginning, Blender always had modifiers. So something has to go really, really wrong. I've never seen a 3D application without modifiers. They might be called differently in a different application, but they would have modifiers. Hold on, you rotate the mesh instead of conforming it to the surface by modifier. Which mesh? I'm not sure. Just curious, what do you do for a living? Well, YouTube and programming mostly. I also do some web design, but it's been a while since I've done that because I just don't like dealing with clients anymore. They can be tiring. What I've learned today is not all is taught. Sometimes you just have to think out of the box. Loved you technicality. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, because there are several scenarios you are going to approach that other artists have not run into. So you need to find a way. You need to be good at solving your own problems, as you might run into problems other artists have not run into. So you have to be your own technical artist. Nice modeling. Thank you. Hello, Ganja Farmer. How are you? You have learned the trick of not pissing off Nightbot, or is he asleep? I think he's around. He's just... You haven't pissed him off. How would you give those buttons separate materials? Separate materials, I should have given them separate materials to begin with, but I think if you select one and use Shift G area, you might be able, no, you just select the single face like this, because this face is going to have the same area as all the other buttons. Shift G, area, and actually what you do, because this mesh, you can use Ctrl L, select this, and what you'll be left with are the buttons. Then give this a new material, and then the buttons a new material, or if you want, you can assign them to a new vertex group like this, so that if you want to select them, you just select that vertex group. Easy. I want to ask, how long would it take to be a good programmer? Well, a good programmer, that's a complicated issue, because let me see, how can I put this? Because I program using Python, but I'm more versed with the Blender API. So when you're a programmer, you don't just know everything about everything, because most programs use different. I don't even know how to explain this, because if you know how to program in Python, it doesn't mean you know how to make Blender add-ons, though Blender add-ons are created using Python. So you would think that knowing how to program in Python would be enough for you to know how to program to do Blender add-ons. But that's not the case, because you have to learn the Blender API, which is also a different thing. So, and that's the same thing with different companies. So say, for example, I don't know if Adobe uses C++ or whatever program they do. So let's say Adobe, when creating Photoshop, they use C++. You knowing C++ doesn't make you a good candidate for Adobe, because they might be using a different framework on top of C++. So you need to know how to use that. It's basically, you need to. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if that's a good explanation to give, but yeah. Let me see. Do you think the RGB adds 15 more frames? Do you think that RGB adds 15 more frames? I'm not sure what you're asking there. Burning Bright, he can assign them to a second material slot. Yeah, that's true. I want to ask, yeah, okay. Longer than a month, I'm certain of it. Now all good? Yes, so yeah. We managed to assign a new material to this. So if I change this, you can see that those have a different material. Yeah, it's a bit complicated. Anyway, so just go back to the bed. What I want to do is simulate this. So I'm going to first make sure that this is converted into a pattern, which should break it down like that. Give it, also make sure that this is a collision object, and I'll set the outer thickness to something like 0.02, and hit play. I need to go back here, make sure that I have gravity on, and that would be like that. But okay, let me first slide this somewhere here. Also make sure that this is set as a collision object, 0.002, play. So we have something like that. The other thing I want to do is select this, Shift D like that, so that we have two sheets. Then I'll select this and this outer loop, and go to these and create sewing patterns. Hit play. And I think the other thing I need to do is add some pressure, maybe 1, so I can get some good wrinkles. Yeah, I think I would need much more resolution on this. But another thing I want to do is add in some seams. So I'm going to select a few edges. This and this line, this edge loop, like that. And then I'll also create sewing lines again. I think I've done this wrong. Oh, I think I would need to select this edge loop, create sewing lines. Now if I select that, you can see where it is. Now I can select that. Create sewing lines. Select those just to see where those sewing lines are. Can start from here. Create sewing lines. Just checking that my sewing lines are there. Okay, now let's try simulating this again. First scale this in. And I'm going to increase the shrink factor, see if that will get me some more wrinkles. And let me fade back. That's why okay, let's simulate this to fall down. Not happening as I want. Does pure sky bring back your girlfriend? Yeah, it does, man. It does. Just get it and you'll see. Yeah, I have this before. I've done this before, but I've done it using Motherless Designer. So let me just get it. Yeah, so this is doing something like this in Blender would be difficult, as you have already seen that I've tried. Was difficult. Okay. Okay. Then here, just going to select this edge, turn on proportional editing. Just do that. Get some pillows. What kind of GPU do you have? Thank you, Lee Louise, for bring up the specs. Yeah, you can use exclamation mark specs to see the specs that I have. And the GPU I have is just a basic. What GPU do I have? A GTX 1060. I wish 1060. I find pillows and blankets difficult, and you need a lot of tries and errors. Yeah. Pillows are much easier than it's the blankets that are much difficult, way difficult. So for a pillow, you just need a plane like that. Just apply the scale. You just needed to have a few subdivisions. Then extrude down, get rid of these. Then you would just give this a cloth modifier. A cloth modifier, turn on sewing. You need to turn on pressure and also sewing. And okay, why is this not working? Let me see. Okay. I'm not really sure why this is not working, but it should work. That's how you'd make a pillow. You just let me actually just copy this, because there might be a bug within this project not allowing that to work. So let me open up just to show you how to make a pillow. Just paste this in here. Let me just try it again. Give this a cloth modifier. Okay, subdivide it. Still works. Extrude down. Get rid of these faces, only faces. Still works. Then add pressure of, yeah. So basically that's how you do a pillow. You just have to make sure that you turn on sewing and you have a pillow. See, pillow in seconds. Oh, a pillow in Motherless Designer? Yeah, it's much faster. Yo, thank you Zeng0912 for subscribing. Really appreciate that. Yeah, if you're new here and you're enjoying the stream, it would be amazing if you subscribe. Thank you Fruit Gaming 1234 for subscribing. I think this is supposed to be taller or something. And I think our bed is also a bit too long, so let's fix that. Yeah, I think that's good. That's a good size. Okay, we have our bed. I'll just select it, put it into our room. Let's see how this looks. I think I should have this in a collection called bed. Now let me change the camera to 35 millimeters, like so. And for the bed, let's just use a new material. From where you make take textures, I take them from textures.com, or sometimes I just use Google. GPUs become very, very expensive, especially from last year. Yeah, last year we had a few issues. They weren't a lot of manufacturers making them, and there was also a Bitcoin bubble. So, okay. Let's add in a light. I'll go to my I'll go to my asset library and search for lamp, because I think I have a few of those. Oh, light. I think I need to link my furniture library. Grab this, add it to the wall. For this, let me look for fabric materials in my asset library. Use this. Let me look for leather. Now, for some reason, even with the asset browser add-on, that comes inbuilt, I still find using my version, because it's easily accessible here, much faster to use. Maybe I'm just being biased because I made it, but yeah, I find it easier to use. Hello Sat Globe, how are you? I'm trying to replicate the same material as this. I don't think I'm having a lot of luck. I think this is also good. Let me just find a wood material. Yeah, I really find it very easy for me to just apply things rather than having a different. Yeah, today we are creating an interior scene. Which is better, Blender or 3ds Max? Blender, man, Blender. It is always Blender. Okay, so let me add a lamp inside this. Who is playing the endless flute in the background? Yes, me. I have several skills I can model while playing flute. Kidding, just YouTube music. Okay, let's see how this looks. I think this is too big. Did you test the new IV Gen based on geometry nodes yet? There's a new IV Gen? I didn't know that. Is it an add-on or is it... this is an add curve. No, the reference photo is not a CG render, it's from house.com. It's an actual house. Let's add a dresser. I think for the curtains, we might need a few that are a bit darker. Let me get a plastic material. Plastic. Yeah, for that. You never can tell comic. Yeah, sometimes there's some good renders that is really hard to tell the difference. I think we have some pictures. I think it's called frame. Oh. Yeah, picture. This one can use. Wanted to use a different material. Inside for carpet. That's not very interesting. Let me go to my cloth library. I think I have some carpets, some good carpets. I like this. Let me use a smooth, corrective smooth here. You have to add skies in those files to your asset library. Ah, skies. I don't think the add-on doesn't support skies. I don't think the asset browser, the inbuilt asset browser also does. So I think our room is starting to look feasible. Go back to asset library. Let me look for some plants. Can add an area light here, and I use it as a portal or just as a light in the window area. It's so amazing how quick you can build a nice scene with a good library. Yeah, that's very, very true, man. Yeah, it makes it even more fun because it makes it seem like a Sims build, like you're doing a Sims build. I'm wondering what else to do to add in here. Let me go to my furniture pack. Let's add in this, or let's add in this here, this seat. I think a single seater would be better. Looking for other things we could do. We can add in a book, a few books here. Have an opened one. So if we add our camera here, you can see this also looks good, still looks good because it is filled with assets. I'm not sure with the IF generator, but it's not built in one. The ones is for free on Gumroad. Haven't tried it, but I think I've seen it. I've seen it being used.